open my social media, I see lots of wedding posts, pregnancy announcement, and adorable babies. Most times, my automatic response is, how cute is that? Has anyone here experienced this? These images on social media portray such dreamy fantasy about marriage and parenthood that it is fulfilling, rewarding, and joyful. Hashtag life goals. Many people blindly walk or even run into this path of life leading to parenthood without knowing what's coming at them. Many people melt at the mad cuteness of babies being all smiley and innocently silly. But in that moment, when you're like, you do realize they grow up, right? They become toddlers. And if you don't have one at home, you may not understand it yet. That's even one more reason why you should listen to this talk. Let me catch you up. A toddler is someone who might throw a tantrum for wanting a blue car toy that another child is playing with. And even if you offer them another exact blue car toy, they would insist of wanting that blue car toy. A toddler is someone who can refuse to eat, even though we know they are hungry. And they are playing with a fork and spoon instead. A toddler is incredibly fast. One moment they are playing just fine, and the next moment, in a blink of an eye, they already hold a tiny bit ready to put it in their mouth. And we're like, no, don't put it in your mouth. But they're like, up. Next thing you know, you're fishing that tiny bit from inside their mouth. Despite all that, you have to make sure that they are keeping this little person alive, well-fed, well-educated, and well-entertained. All of that takes a lot of effort. How do I know that? Because I have 9 of them. Fine, I do not have 9 children, but I have 9 of them in my classroom. And I've had many more in the past few years. I've had a lot of stories and lessons. Let me tell you this one story. One day during the winter, where it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, that's like -1 Celsius, my 2-year-old student and I were walking to the park. It was all fun and exciting. We were singing, "The wheels on the bus go round and round," until she suddenly stopped, screamed at the top of her lung, and dropped her body in the middle of the street. And mind you, it was next to a COVID testing center where many people were lining to get tested. Everyone, some of them were looking at me, some of them were whispering, but all of them were looking at us. They had a front row seat to my toddler's drama where I looked like the villain. Long story short, I discovered that she cried because she forgot to make a jump on a little bump that we usually jump over. There was nothing that I could do that was developmentally and emotionally appropriate except to walk back in that freezing weather to that little bump so she could make that jump. Story of my life. And millions of other toddlers' parents out there. Probably could be your story one day. Very possible. For many parents, this is a time where they feel helpless. Some feel like a failure. So today, I want to share with you potential parents, friends of parents, first-time parents, experienced parents, single parents, all kinds of parents. 3 reasons why parents do not thrive at raising their toddlers. First, parents want to be perfect. Hold on. What is wrong with wanting to be perfect? Especially for the child that we love so much. So have you ever bought a new phone after dreaming about that phone for so long? A newly launched series of a world-famous brand. You care about that phone so much. You got a new screen protector, a new case. You hold on to this phone really tight, making sure there's nothing bad happens to this new phone. But at some point, accidentally, you drop the phone. Gosh, I wish I'm not the only one who have experienced this. I admit I'm the world's best phone dropper. But it doesn't mean that I'm a terrible phone owner. It just means that I'm human and I make mistakes. The same goes for parenting. It is just impossible to be 100% perfect and attentive to your child all the time. Although I hope they don't drop the toddlers as much as I drop my phone. Away from the phone, there's this child psychoanalyst called Donald Winnicott. He observed thousands of babies and mothers, and he came to realize that babies and children actually benefit from their mothers failing them in manageable ways. Winnicott believes that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be good enough. This idea of being good enough brings me to the second reason why parents do not thrive at raising their toddlers. Second, parents put the child first. As I've inferred before, you have some space for not being perfect, and I suggest using this space to put yourself first. See, society believes that you have to sacrifice for your child in order to be good parents. You have to give and give and give, sometimes until you have nothing. But see, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you don't have. If you want your child to be emotionally regulated, you have to learn how to regulate yourself first. If you want your child to love learning, you have to show them you love learning. If you want to give your child the best, well, it's going to be so tough to give the best when you have the least. So once in a while, go take a break. Have that me time you've been wanting for so long. Go on a date with your partner or eat before your child eats. Give your body what you need. It's okay. And if you do these two things that I've explained about why parents do not thrive at raising their toddlers, you will feel in just a few weeks how much calmer you become, how much peace and joy you feel. And this will definitely change the dynamic in your home. I have one more point to share, and I believe this is the most important thing that many parents don't realize. Parents want to control the child. They want to control everything. From my experience working with hundreds of parents in my EdStartup and training many teachers through a program organized by the Indonesian government, I noticed that parents want to be in full control of almost everything. The desire to control actually comes from a good intention. However, when we control too much, relationships suffer. And this will often result to a power struggle, a battle between the parents and the child to show who has more power. In this battle, the toddler's weapons are screaming, hitting, biting, kicking, throwing a tantrum, having a meltdown, and we all know how exhausting this can be. Many parents try to control this behavior by using traditional method centered around punishments. Sometimes, this may temporarily stop the behavior and give the mistaken impression that the problem is under control. However, what many parents fail to realize is they hurt their relationship with the child in return of these punishments. And there's even more further complication from this hurt relationship. Remember this story at the beginning of the talk? It would be so much easier for me to just pick up the child and keep walking. They're portable anyway. Or I could exercise my power and raise my voice and threaten the child. I know that would be a much faster and more effective way if my goal is to control the child. However, I decided to go the hard way and walk back to the bum. In doing so, I entered the toddler's world instead of forcing the toddler to conform to the adult's world. In result, our relationship grows stronger, and I know that she can trust me. And when it comes to raising toddlers, it's not like mathematics where you always get 2 when you're given the equation 1 plus 1. Instead, it is full with uncertainties. What works for one child may not work for another child. What works for one child at this time may not work again the next time. So no matter how much you try to control your desired outcomes, I promise you there will always be unexpected turns. So I suggest we let go of our adult expectation and embrace the uncertainties of toddlers. Here's a new mindset I want you to take home today. Dance in the moment. When we dance in the moment, we are being completely present with the children. We put their agenda above ours, being ready to make adjustments and embrace that their pace, flow, and direction. This idea will gain sense of safety, trust, and faith between the parents and the child. Indirectly, this will solve power struggle without the struggle. As a way of concluding, I would like to reiterate 3 attitudes that parents must have in order to thrive at raising their toddlers. First, recognize that it's enough to be good enough. Second, refine the mindset of putting the child first. Parents should put themselves first. Third, allow yourself to be reborn with the courage to dance in the moment. An attitude that will free yourself from the desire to control children. If you do these 3 things, I believe that you're not just going to survive toddlerhood, but you will thrive at raising your toddlers. So come back to this talk in 20 years and thank me. Until then, thank you for listening.